Ash from Elevate My Faith, and today I was just going to go over some things me and my husband learned at a marriage event at our church that took place like the week of Valentine's, so it's kind of like a Valentine's date night. But yeah, we just want to go over some key takeaways and just go over them with you guys. So for me, I put your spouse should be your best friend. Friendship in marriage leads to a better time in the bedroom, according to my pastor. Communication is so important when it comes to finances, decisions, etc. If you don't communicate, one person could be totally thinking different from the other and then be caught off guard and result in conflict that could have been avoided initially from just the open communication. So communication is really key. If you come to a standstill in a conflict and no one wants to budge on their stance in the matter, then it's best to take it to the Lord and ask what He wants instead. It's also okay to get a trusted third party involved that loves the Lord and you both, so they will give godly, unbiased input on the matter. So like if you really just can't figure out what to do, either go to God or you can bring in that third party as long as they're a trusted source that won't be biased and just really give you the best advice for that situation. Next, submitting to your husband is submitting to God and His Word, but husbands should not have to pull out the submit to me verse all the time or something is wrong in the marriage, like my pastor was talking about, and I do agree with that. And wives should not be submitting to any form of abuse. That does not mean you have to submit to sexual, physical, or emotional abuse at all. That's not what they're saying. Your ideal of beauty should be whatever your spouse looks like. So my ideal of beauty is what Jake looks like, and his ideal of beauty is what I look like. And my pastor said his wife has to try really harder on what her ideal of beauty has to be. And also the frequency of sex doesn't matter. You can never have too much sex, but if you're not having sex at all, there's probably an issue that needs addressed. Maybe like something happened in the past that makes you not want to have sex anymore. Because one of the questions that was asked to our pastor and his wife was like, we're best friends, but we just don't have sex at all. So there just may be some underlying issues that might need addressed there. And the last key takeaway for me is practice spiritual intimacy by praying together. You don't have to do a Bible study together because that can put your spouse first over God during studying. So it's okay to just do your own study, and then but it's always good to talk to each other about it, what you're learning from your own study time. So yeah, I think just praying more together is more important for the spiritual intimacy. But yeah, I do enjoy telling Jake things I've been learning from church or my Bible study time and things like that. And Jake just has a few little key takeaways too. So.
I put spiritual intimacy of praying together and how it's probably better not to do it before marriage because it's more intimate than sex. Mm-hmm. And then don't bring a bad day from work home and take it out on your wife and kids. And then the emphasis on friendship and marriage is very important.
Like just being each other's best friends and instead of like being lovers or romanticizing it, because I feel like romanticism in marriage doesn't seem to last as long as like, you know, Christian best friend marriages.
Right.
So.
Yep.
And speaking of romanticism and marriages that never last because romance and happiness does not last, this is also the book we got from our marriage conference that a pastor recommends, and he read it with his wife. It's called Sacred Marriage, What If God Designed Marriage to Make Us Holy More Than to Make Us Happy, and it's by Gary Thomas. We just started it in our chapter 2, but I think it's definitely going to be a good read for us and important to bring into our marriage for sure. So I definitely would give this a try if you want to learn how to have more of a holy marriage instead of a happy marriage like culture tries to do, and which will usually end in like unhappy marriages or divorces because that can only be sustained for so long. And that is all the key takeaways I have and Jake has from our marriage conference. So I hope you guys learned some valuable things for your marriages or just future marriage in general. And I was just going to insert a little date night from last night just because I'm afraid this video is probably a little short, but that's okay. So just going to include that at the end of this little, Christian Wife series episode. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
my spirit.